Good morning or good evening or whenever you're watching this. I wanted to take just a minute or two to talk about how to set up your class notebook just in case you missed that day of class or you need to go back and redo something, you're not sure about it. It'll be here for you to see. Let's switch the camera around so we can see what we got going on here. So here's our notebook. The first thing we're going to do is get the composition book, the old school composition book. Don't get a don't get a spiral bound. Those things fall apart. And make sure it's college ruled. The difference is college ruled has more lines per page. Okay? If all you've got is a wide ruled, that's all right. We'll go with that. The important place that you have some place to put your notes and to keep track of them. But let's try to get a college ruled one. First thing we want to do is we want to number the pages. And I'm going to number the pages on the outside corner of each one. Obviously, starting on the first page, that's page 1. Flip the page over, and I want to number the back pages as well. So this would be 2, this would be 3, this would be 4, etc. I think you get the picture. This particular composition book's got 100 pages, 2 sides of each page. There's 200 of them. I'm not going to number 200 pages in this video. And I would recommend you don't try to get 200 pages done in one setting. Do 30, 40 pages. And every couple weeks or so, do another 30 or 40 more till you get it done. The next thing that we want to do is we want to create a table of contents in our notebook. Now again, for this notebook, I have 200 pages. There's 30 lines per page, and that's important because we're going to make a table of contents on the first few pages. I'm going to take a ruler. I'm just going to draw a line down the middle. I'm not trying to be exact. All right, just trying to get it pretty close to the middle. And I'm going to label this first page table of contents. And each line is going to be 1 page in my notebook. That means we got to number these lines. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Good morning, Titans. Beth, please make sure you are checking your box.
I had to push pause just for a second for that interruption, but start numbering down your line here. And this particular notebook has 30 lines per page. I know this because I've done this several times for this particular brand of notebook. I'm going to get 30 lines here. I get down here to 30. I'm going to go up here to the next page, next column rather, 31, 32, etc. It's going to take me all the way down to 60. Once I fill in all of these numbers, okay? Here's why that's important. I can see, as I keep going, I'm going to be able to get up to 60 on each one of my pages of my table of contents. If I've got 200 pages, okay, divided by 60, that means it's 3 with some change left over. I'm going to need 4 pages for my table of contents. I will do the same thing here on the second page. And I know that I stopped on 60 on the previous page, so this column will start with 61. It's going to take me all the way down to 90, and this column will start with 91 and take me all the way down to 120. I've got to get 200 pages numbered. Guess we're going to need another page for our table of contents. We stopped at 120 on the previous page. So this will be 121. It's going to take me all the way down to 150. This column will be 151. It'll take me all the way down to 180. I've got 200 pages in my notebook. I need 1 more page for my table of contents. So I'll go to the 4th page. to start at 181, and that would take me down to 210, which I don't need to get to 210 because I've only got 200 pages in my notebook. And at some point, as we make our way through the semester, I'll fill in all of these numbers, and I'll be writing on each one of these pages what's on here. For example, I already know the first 4 pages are going to be my table of contents. And I'm just going to abbreviate that table of contents for pages 1, 2, 3, and 4. That's how you set up your notebook. Here's an important question that some of you are going to have because you're freaking out. You got your notebook and before you had a chance to set it up, you started using it to do some of the warm-up problems or some of the other things that we've been doing in class. And you're like, oh no, I've messed up my notebook. It's not going to be right. There's no right or wrong, no right or wrong way to do this unless it just is not useful. Okay? So let's pretend you used the first 2 pages for something else, but that's okay. You can start your table of contents on page 2. All right? It would just change, what you would have listed here. The important thing is all the information that you'll need this semester will be in here. And there'll be times where I'll say, all right, remember that day and we did, and I'll name a concept. Find your notes on that. You can turn to your table of contents and find that, like, oh, all that stuff's on page 47. You can turn to 47 and get to your notes. That's it. And I hope that you're able to use this notebook for your benefit this semester.